Good afternoon, everyone. Based on the audiences here, I think I will speak Chinese, which will save more time. Today, I will share with you something about connecting innovations. Actually, the topic will be about, as you know, WeChat marketing. For the position of the WeChat marketing, no matter it is from company's point of view or from the consumer's point of view, it is a connector. Actually, it is not just a social app or a business app or a marketing platform. So, how can we make use of its role in our brand communication or brand promotion? So, this phenomenon happened only at the beginning. The major task of WeChat is for social sharing and social connection. So, at the beginning, when we use WeChat, we found its convenience, but it also quickly get involved in many other fields. So as you can see here, the photo is very popular online. There is a child who wants to better communicate with his family members, so he wrote a WeChat manual to teach his elderly parents on how to use this tool to communicate more closely with each other in the future. So this was an example at the beginning. So WeChat was a bridge for the communication among mankind. Later, people will use it for other ways. You can see there are many functions on the WeChat. Every time when we release a new version, we will describe the functions in the manual. But most of you will, based on your own needs, explore the functions of WeChat. Here, as you can see, we have a real estate agency in the US. They make very good use of WeChat in their location, which is New York. They use photos, videos, or video calls to present their products to their buyers in China. And then, after that, they will use the WeChat platform to contact the lawyers, the financial staff, or the accountants. So the whole set of transactions happened on the WeChat platform, and it was reported by Wall Street Journal, which said that they completed couple of millions of transactions on this platform. So many people ask me, what will be the future for WeChat? What is your vision? This photo is Alan Zhang, and he is the father of WeChat. We found that WeChat already solved the problem for the mankind communication. Next step will solve the communication problem for the brands and their consumers. And in the future, the bigger vision is the communication between human and machine, which is for the Internet of Things. So you can imagine, we can even include all the equipment or devices in your house, which can all be related to the WeChat applications. But of course, the opportunities for brands also lie in this field. So we said that WeChat is a way of life. Then, how can we play the role of a connector between the brands and the consumers so that we can find more opportunities for communication and promotion? One way is a public account. It's an open platform for all kinds of brands, from big brands to the small brands, so that they can do their operation in the platform. And look into the future. For your brands, you can directly, through WeChat or other connections, connect to your consumers. Is that possible? So today I will share with you something about this. For the brand communication, first of all, maybe you say you have a public platform, then we will register for a public account. But many brands will ask me, because you have two kinds of accounts. One is a service account, the other is subscription account. Which one is better? Based on the name, for the subscription account, because they send messages more frequently, most of the brands at the beginning, they are very greedy. They try to send as many information as possible. It's like they try to transfer their offline newsletters or some other activities to the WeChat platform. But after the in-depth operation, you will find that there are some differences between the two kinds of accounts. Actually, for those accounts which can provide a service for the consumers, they must belong to the service accounts. For the subscription accounts, they are more for the self-media or for those who have a higher demand for the media or the content, or even for the brand. So maybe in the past, for the subscription accounts, the interface or the toolbars are very similar to the service accounts, which can be customized. The difference lies in the communication to the outside. For example, if you are a service account and if you have a message for your consumers, then you can pop up for your consumer. But for the subscription account, this function is not available because all accounts are folded together. So you will find that at the beginning, when we do this classification for the subscription accounts, the usage will be influenced. But actually, it depends on the needs in terms of the content for the consumers. For me, I also subscribe to the Forbes China or some account related to losing weight. So I will look at this kind of content when I'm available, even though they are folded together. But for the service account, so you have to consider whether you can integrate the online or the offline data to provide the functionality or the services to your consumers. Or you can also try to interact with your consumers. You have to consider how to provide the services if you want to use the service accounts. And for the API, for the newly developed APIs, they will be specifically for the service accounts. So later, as I mentioned, it's about the differences for the two kinds of accounts. In the future, newly developed APIs will be for the service accounts. Okay, now I will tell you something about the API, because we know now the public account can create some APIs for themselves. We have 12 categories of APIs which have been already released in the market. I will try to choose four of them to talk about. The first is the voice system. It's a cipher. You can consider it to be a Siri. Or more directly, based on the needs of the consumers, maybe you can directly tell the machine that you want to find the nearest restaurant or the nearest cafe. Then in the system, you can directly communicate with the system. Then in the back system, you will have an interface to transform the consumer's needs to words so that it will be more convenient to handle or to process. But for some of the brands which already have their call centers, you can also try to use this kind of information. So this function will be more useful for the backstage management. Of course, you can also upgrade it based on that. And the next is about the online-offline data. It's about the CRM system. I will give you an example. It's China's Merchants Bank. I think China Merchants Bank has done a very good job in the implementation of the WeChat platform because they have already transformed the 79 offline functions to the public account on the WeChat platform. So you can imagine that all the users of China's merchant bank, they can check their credits, they can check their annual transactions or the details, or you can even exchange your credits for gifts on the public account. And also in the future there will be more functions for the service points. For example, they even connect the queuing machine to the WeChat platform so that you can try to find the nearest service point and you can find the one with the shortest queue in the bank. So for the consumers, it can provide more convenience. And for the middle part, it is about luxury brands. For LV, they collected many offline VIP informations. And every time based on your nickname, they can get to know the information or the description about the consumers. Then they will try to assign a specific shop assistant to connect with the consumer. Then you can analyze or segment based on their needs or their interests. For example, maybe they are interested in a product or they are interested in the activity or the event. So in the future, when you push the information to the consumers, you can provide more personalized one-to-one service to them. And also, or you can just transform your offline member cards to the online member cards. Actually, many brands have already experimented this way. The biggest convenience is that when you visit a certain shop, you get to bring the member card, and then you can still shop inside the shop. So when the consumer want to choose between two brands, they will prefer the brand with both online or offline functions or the services. And the next is about the operation procedures. How can we use the API to simplify the process? As you can see, for the third point, it's about for the WeChat public account. We can directly use the users or consumers' information when they already registered. For example, if you have this kind of information, they do not have to fill in the information in your public account repeatedly. So no matter it is a public account or your brand space, first of all, if you want to buy a certain product, you have to fill in your ID, then password, and then the product, and then add your product to the cart, and then you choose the way of payment. After that, it will link you to the personal bank. But now you need just 3 simple steps. First, you choose the product, and then you fill in your shopping password, and then you do the payment. Because now the WeChat payment is already connected to the front end of the information of the consumers. So you can imagine, if you took a taxi through Didi Taxi, so you don't have to fill in your information repeatedly. You can use them directly once you registered. And the next is we can generate more customized or personalized QR code. In the past, one public account can only generate one QR code. Or if you want to do some mobile functions, you will have maybe 1 or 2 QR codes. Then it will lead you to a web page or a destination. But in the future, you can generate tens of thousands of QR codes. for each QR code is customized. So since then, the QR code will follow all your media channels whenever you need to communicate with the consumers. So if you want to know for the offline media which one is more efficient, it is through the airport advertising boards, the magazine, or the TV's advertising. So you can have more back-end tracking. They can provide more data for the brand owners to analyze, try to find the insight about the information. And also, of course, you can generate more personalized or special information or service for the consumers. So is opening a public account be enough? Everything will be solved, right? Of course, I believe that you have many more questions. For example, how can they be our fans? Or how will they follow me? Based on the backstage data, we find that when a consumer tries to search a public account or a brand account, 20% are from the organic search, which means that they have an impression about this brand. For many international brands, for example, Combo is an example. When you translate into Chinese, the ball means treasure or means protection or some other meaning. So you have to pay attention to this consistency when you do the translation. And also for the QR code, they account for a very high percentage. So there will be more O2O or interaction or synchronization. And the next is from moments. Also, there is a high percentage from social sharing. Actually, no matter your public account or your event, at least you will know that in China, for the social force is the most chaotic. So you have to consider how can you protect your image in front of the consumers, and how can you make your communications bring more in to your brand, and why the users or the consumers follow a certain brand. As you can see, the offering accounts for the highest percentage, which means among all the points, among all the media channels, why I will follow you in WeChat. As you know, WeChat is a closed environment. Maybe today I can eliminate you from my environment. I have the power to cross you out. So if you want a consumer to actively add you or follow you, you have to provide something or special offer to your user or your consumer. And the next is stay current. Actually, when we do some operation on the online, you have this kind of experience too. Sometimes, why do I have to follow you or follow this event? Maybe it is because all the friends surrounding me are talking about this. They are already aware of this event. So how can you keep this event or activity keep hot to become a resource for discussion among the friends, or even want to make me as opinion leader? Maybe sometimes when brands share content or release a content, you have to consider how can this content be actively accepted by the consumer, and so that they are willing to actively share it to their friends. You cannot just share a PR article and then provide a certain discount to ask your consumer to transfer it. Maybe they will just transfer it for one time and then they will stop. So you have to consider this service also. The next is some brands examples. This is about Burberry. Burberry is very innovative among all the luxury brands. So when Burberry cooperates with WeChat, in terms of the content and in terms of the interaction, they have found a very interesting point. Their requirement is to provide their consumers a feeling of being special or being customized. So they released a made-for concept, which means if you register a public account and then you fill in your name, then the back system will give you a customized name tag. And in the name tag, you can see I have my name on the name tag. Everyone can have their own name tag. Once you have this kind of virtual name tag, the first thing I did is to share it in my moments, to telling my friends I am the personal VIP of Burberry. And of course, the brand is also recognized by people. And when you visit the shop, if you try to buy a bag or a trench coat, you can also request to put the name tag on the trench coat or on the bag. So if you want to use it as a gift, you can imagine that it is very special. And also in the London fashion show, we did a live broadcasting. It was also the first live broadcasting on WeChat platform. It is an exclusive long-term and large-scale broadcasting. And of course, in promotion, we also used some online fashion channels of Tencent to do the promotion. So the fans exceeded 2 million. So to choose the right timing is also very important. And after this event, in April, because in Shanghai they already have their biggest flagship shop, so they will give you a feeling that you can meet London in Shanghai. So in the WeChat, they do some pre-shop. You can use some of the basic functions of WeChat, like shake your mobile phone, or you can swipe the service so that you can see more information. So all the innovation is very good and the quality is very high. It also used, for the first time, the panorama function or panorama play, which means that even though you cannot get the VIP ticket or you cannot get on the site, you can also, through the public account, to have a panorama view of the scenery, so that this event will be more effectively promoted to the consumers. So in such a case, our learning is that 90% of the interactions, because they also do some online activities and offline activities, the 90% of the interactions are from WeChat itself, which means that it can share the event with their friends. So this brand can make the consumers more recognizable to their friends. And just now, as mentioned, we can use the WeChat in terms of the brand engagement or reference. But for the sales, I want to give you an example of Smart. They use the WeChat platform to provide special products, a series with the concept of North European designers, which can only be available in the WeChat. And then the consumers can use the function of the WeChat, which is the specials. You can check the specials. And then in this function, before the event, we will do the warm-up, maybe 10 days before the event. We collected more than 6,000 fields, which means you have to fill all the complete information, and then you have to pay about 999 down payment, or it's or the deposit for this buying. And when the purchase starts, which is April 14th, it started at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then all 388 cars were sold within 3 minutes. So actually, at the beginning, there were already more than 1,000 people who paid the $999 deposit. So actually, there was not so much publicity or advertising. It's just online shopping. Based on the route, actually it is not in the very front line. You can just see it when you open WeChat. Actually, it is very in a deep position of WeChat, but it was very effective. Because each car costs about more than 100,000 yuan. And for the offline activities, how can we make more combination? This is example of specific coffee. Actually, you also have this kind of experience. For example, if you go to Starbucks or if you go to another coffee shop, you have to queue for a very long time to get a cup of coffee. And now you can order online. If you are very picky, for example, if you want the milk, you don't want the sugar, or you want a decaf, or you want some other very picky requirements, you can order it online. And when you get there, they will have give you a QR code. And if you scan the QR code, because in the cashier desk, they have a WeChat post system. If you scan the QR code, you will pay automatically and get a cup of coffee. You can not only order coffee for yourself, but you can also order a cup of coffee for your friend, so that they can get the coffee in the coffee shop which is closer to your friend. So it's not just a cup of coffee anymore. It can become more meaningful, can be a way of social connection, social interaction. And next, about the food beverage. In the event or in the activity, all the bottles, all the package of the bottles have information which says that at 3 p.m., as long as you get into this platform, you will have the opportunity to snap up all kinds of products, from Samsung Note 3 to all kinds of other products. You can also snap up some very favorable products with very low price. You can buy some electronic products or even some traditional products like dumplings. So it is very interesting of the timing. Why do they choose 3 p.m.? Because at 3 p.m. it is the blood glucose is the lowest in the human body, and the momentum is the lowest. So they need a Coca-Cola to refresh themselves. So then in the public count, they can share it simultaneously. So if you drink a bottle of coffee, you can fill in your barcode, and then you can get these kind of opportunities to take part in this kind of event to get all kinds of emojis which you can use in your WeChat. And also it can combine all kinds of other objectives with the hope to promote sales, or it can also to get more offline sales. Or for example, you can buy a package of cakes, and then you can unlock many more interesting emojis. The next example is Monk Milk. For Monk Milk, they did an activity to promote a concept that a complete breakfast is a source of vigor for the whole day. So they have a concept of the early vigor in the cities. So they have different QR codes based on the online-offline activities in some places like the shopping centers or the subway stations. Then they have a specific QR code. If you scan the QR code, they will know where you are from. And then you can share with your process when you are in the subway station or while you are having breakfast. You can share the photos in this platform. Then we can have a very colorful or very rich image of the city, so that we can generate more vitality to the brands because they have more relevant information. Then the photos or the pictures can be collected together in a backstage, and in the process they collected more than 1.3 million photos. So you can see that the result is very effective, because now people are in the way of life of being always online. And the next is for the combination of the offline activity. This is a Castro example. This time we focus on the new emerging media platform WeChat. You don't have to download the app to participate. You can follow the Castro account and then you see what you want to see. And third, you can choose the effect of the music to protect your dream, to protect your thoughts, and then you share your voice with your friends. Before the activity, we will use the Chinese auto to warm up. And then to generate some heated discussion among some celebrities online. And then we develop some PC pages so that the users can participate in different channels. And fans can also support their idols through this platform. Through WeChat, the netizens can interact with the brand at any time and at any place. Within just 2 months, Castro WeChat fans increased by 200% and helped more than 800,000 netizens to realize their dream. We can also to successfully enhance the image of the brand Castro. So for many brands, they have some offline sponsorship or some communication campaigns. But if you can make use of WeChat to directly communicate or interact with the consumers, your awareness can also be increased substantially. The next is the communication between consumers and machines. As you can see in the left picture, it's about the communication of WeChat with hair appliances, the fridges, or the TV sets, so that the machines or the terminals or the home appliances can be more smart. And also the WeChat can also connect your TV sets in the future. You can use your WeChat interface as a remote control. And in the left picture, you can see it's a vending machine. It's the only one vending machine that you do not have to put in your coins. If you like a certain product, you can scan the QR code and then it will tell you the price, and then you can pay it directly on the WeChat, and then you will get the product from the machine. I know now many food and beverage brands are already doing this. It provides you convenience. Even if you do not have your wallet, you can still shop or buy the products. They can also make some social apps. Actually, you can see a small screen. Based on this purchase, you can have some information about this purchase. For example, if you buy a pack of cakes, then there is a screen will tell you you can directly scan a QR code, then you can get the credits. From this buying, you can get a virtual gadgets, or you can get some value-added services. So it's like a connection from the virtual world and the real world. And this is like say goodbye to remote controls, because we have different machines and we have many different remote controls at our home. So here, in the future, you can imagine in your purchase process, you have to think whether there are possible ways to simplify through WeChat. So at last, it's a joke. It's not so evil, of course. It is not so dominating. But of course, they can provide many services related to our real life, like the DD taxi. Even we can use the map. We have many data in the backstage. We can analyze the information for the interests of the consumers. And then is Dianping.com. Now many consumers, when they go to shop in a restaurant, they will take photos or share their photos. Now here, you can add address information in the photo, which means that you can share the exact restaurant where you had this dinner. And then if you share it in a moment, so that they can, through this address information, directly link to the Dianping.com. So it's like a closed circle. If you sell a food beverage, you can also do it like in this way. You can do a link in the Dianping.com. If you go to a restaurant, it will introduce to you the address, the dishes, or the price. It can even promote a promotion. For example, what is the best combination of the dishes, or a special offer, or a special dish for you. So this is a closed business loop. Here is the first WeChat conceptual store in Hangzhou. And in this store, or in this restaurant, everything is digitalized. From every product, they have their own QR code. Then, for this QR code, it does not only link you to the information of the product, but also link it to the inventory information. So it can also help you to do the inventory management. And also, every assistant will have an iPad. So it is not like it is like the App Store, but selling a different thing. So you can guarantee the service quality by using this system. Or you can connect it to the outside of stores. In some places like the bus stations, or in some advertising places, they can provide some snapping up opportunities or some products of favorable prices. So you can analyze the consumer's needs and demand based on the data. So in the future, what the world will be like, I don't know either. Because in every year we focus on different topics. This year we talk about WeChat. So for next year, what will be the focus? I don't know. Maybe there will be something new. Or the WeChat will be dominant forever. I don't know either. So we cannot imagine very big. we can only think of the places where we can integrate with the WeChat. We can use the WeChat to calculate the distance between cars. If the distance is too short, then they will give some alert. Or in some shopping centers, maybe the WeChat can provide you some options. Or if you have the same preferences, you can have a community of the consumers. And the next example is more closely related to the daily necessities. For example, if you can scan your skin to check whether your skin health is good or not, and then promote you a facial mask or a certain skincare products. So we have many opportunities for development. Or the smart fridge or smart washing machine can also be concluded in the WeChat platform, and also for the consumer's life cycle can also be integrated. Okay, after so much sharing, we can make a learning. I hope that we can give you something for takeaway. WeChat can provide the consumers with a one-to-one communication platform, and also you can provide more segmented designs. And in the design of the API service, you can consider some of the new ways to communicate with your consumer. You do not have to create a new function, but you can use the existing functions in an innovative way. And also in the events or the activities, how can you use the WeChat platform as a connector to connect the online and the offline world? And also in the future, how can you bridge the brands and the consumers, or any other breakthroughs you can consider? Last but not least, because most of you are very experienced marketers, when you try to cooperate with WeChat, I have 3 questions for you. So you have to consider, what kind of problem do you want to solve with WeChat? To promote the sales, or to solve the problem of engagement? And also, if you have a public account, you have to consider, why will the consumers follow you? Why will they visit you back? What kind of motivation can you provide for your consumers? And the next is, WeChat is not only just a platform, it is alive. It is living in the consumer's hands. So how can you help the consumers? Before we talk about the preference or the awareness or the purchase or the sharing, but now it's just a 2 points or the 3 points connection. It's a very short or very short loop. So much for my sharing. Thank you for your attention.